Hey, everybody, welcome. And today we're talking about moving to Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is a great place. It's home to Naval Air Station Oceana. It's the East Coast Surfing Championship. It's got the Neptune Festival. There's so much great about Virginia Beach when it comes to waterfront living or beachfront living. It really has everything that you're looking for. Let's take a look today at three things you need to know when you're moving to Virginia Beach. First, we're going to talk about demographics and makeup. We're going to talk about the local culture. And then, most importantly, we're going to talk about where you might want to live. So, first, demographics and makeup. When we think about Virginia Beach, believe it or not, it is the largest city in the state of Virginia, a population of just shy of 1/2 of a million. It's the most populous city by people, not necessarily by landmass, 42nd most populous in the nation. It's located right there in the southeast portion of the state, right at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, right in the Atlantic Ocean, just north of North Carolina. There's a whole bunch of rivers. There's the Lynnhaven Bay, the Lynnhaven River, Elizabeth River, the James River, all coming together in an area called Hampton Roads, right? And that names the entire area as well. The Cape Henry, right there in Virginia Beach, was the site of the first landing of the English colonists who eventually settled at Jamestown up the river back in 1607. So a lot of history right here in Virginia Beach. The local culture, number two, that we want to talk about, local culture in Virginia Beach. There's a couple of different names for the area. The whole big area is called either Hampton Roads, Tidewater, Virginia, or what's now being called the 757. 757 is the local area code, so now it's called the 757, a little more hip. Here's a big thing that's important to know in this area is we don't have counties. We have cities, but no counties. Back in the day, 70 years ago, there was Norfolk County and Princess Anne County, and then things changed. And now we have 7 cities in this area. We've got Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, Hampton, Newport News. I think that's all 7 of them as I go around the map. And that area makes up Hampton Roads. If you continue up the peninsula, you're getting into the Williamsburg area, not a part of Hampton Roads, not a part of the 757. The major economic drivers in this area are basically 2 things: the military and tourism. So let's first talk about all the different military bases. First, in Virginia Beach, of course, we've got Naval Air Station Oceana, which includes the East Coast Carrier Air Wings, as well as all of the East Coast fighter squadrons flying F-18 E&F Super Hornets. Part of Naval Air Station Oceana is also Dam Neck Annex. And over at Dam Neck nearby, you're going to find some special forces as well as some naval intelligence commands. Also, you're going, as you go further up, you've got Naval Amphibious Base Little Creek, where you have more special forces, more SEAL teams up there in Little Creek, mostly in Virginia Beach. It actually has a Norfolk address. It's right there on the line. But in addition to the special forces, you also have the hovercraft, the LCACs, landing craft air cushioned. Those are based there, as well as Military Sea Lift Command for the Atlantic Fleet. If we move over into Norfolk, other bases we have Naval Station Norfolk, also known as NOB. The old name Naval Operating Base is Naval Station Norfolk, which is not only the surface ships, the sublant, surflant. We've got the Naval Air Station over at Norfolk, all part of Naval Station Norfolk, where we've got E-2 Hawkeye, C-2 CODs. We also got some helicopters over there. If you then go down Terminal Boulevard, we've got Naval Support Activity Hampton Roads, where we've got U.S. Fleet Forces Command, the Atlantic Fleet. You have Sublant, you have NATO, you've got Fleet Marine Force Atlantic, part of MAR-4Com. All sorts of folks down there at NSA Hampton Roads. If we go across the river into Portsmouth, we now have Norfolk Naval Shipyard. Norfolk Naval Shipyard, where it's a Civil War era shipyard in Portsmouth, Virginia. I'd like to caution that there is some confusion sometimes. Portsmouth Naval Shipyard is somewhere else. Norfolk Naval Shipyard is in Portsmouth, Virginia. Portsmouth Naval Shipyard is in Maine. All right, so Portsmouth Naval Shipyard is in Maine. Norfolk Naval Shipyard is in Portsmouth, Virginia. So slightly different names. It can be confusing. Another interesting thing in the confusion there is Norfolk Naval Shipyard, abbreviated NNSY, is sometimes confused with Newport News Shipyard, which could also be NNSY, which is up in Newport News, and that's a private shipyard. Other private shipyards, you have the BAE shipyard right over here in the South Norfolk area. Continue up in the peninsula. We've got Langley Air Force Base. You've got F-22s and Joint Strike Fighters up there, as well as a whole bunch of other Air Force assets. We have a Portsmouth Naval Hospital. We also have the Portsmouth Naval Hospital over there in Portsmouth, Virginia, as well as the U.S. Coast Guard sector of Virginia, which is also right there as well. So lots of military forces, lots of bases, and lots of just a lot of military activity in the area. As well as for tourism, this is a big vacation destination. Lots of folks come here for spring break down at the beach, also for summer getaways. There's the Neptune Festival, lots of great things. We used to have an event called Something in the Water, which recently left. A lot of great entertainment and sports and entertaining venues down in the oceanfront area, which is pretty darn nice. A lot of times folks, when they move up here, they think about short-term rentals and Airbnb. That is another discussion we'll have. If you have a question on that, maybe you're an investor thinking about Airbnb, let's have a conversation, because there are some nuance to this area as far as some of the local regulations and the mood towards Airbnb and how you might want to navigate that when you're trying to target that property. All right, those are the first two things we want to talk about most. And then number three is where to live. We want to talk about that. A big thing to talk about first is, let's talk about housing affordability. The affordability index for this area is 126. What does that mean? Anything greater than 100 is considered to be affordable, with a higher number meaning more affordable. This area in general is 126. All right. So all real estate is local. If you hear stuff nationwide, it does not necessarily apply to here. Our economy, our market is a little bit different. The median home price in all of Hampton Roads on the south side is $325,000. That's the median home price, $325,000. The median home price for Virginia Beach in itself is $380,000. So the two expensive cities to live in for housing are Virginia Beach and Chesapeake and Suffolk. So Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and Suffolk are the big expensive ones. Where do you want to live if you're going to be in Virginia Beach? Well, let's assume for a second that you're going to be stationed at Naval Air Station Oceana. You might want to be down south of the base. The commute's pretty easy. You can get right into the back gate. You do have to deal with some jet noise. It's what you're going to have if you're nearby. If you want an easy commute out of Virginia Beach, maybe an easy commute to Norfolk, well, then you probably want to be near any of the major highway arteries, near I-264 in Virginia Beach, or maybe down in Chesapeake, where you're going to be near 64 or the Southern Bypass, something like that. You do want to consider bridges, tunnels, rivers, toll roads, things like that when you're trying to decide where you might want to live as you're coming here. If you're going to be working stationed at Oceana, and you live somewhere near there, you aren't going to have to worry about tunnels. You aren't going to have to worry about tolls and bridges. If you're working in Norfolk, or you expect orders there later, or somebody's up on the peninsula, that is absolutely something that you need to consider. And we need to have a conversation about that before you commit yourself to a commute that maybe is a little bit more difficult than you anticipated. Some other places you might want to consider. So we talked about housing affordability, easy commute to Oceana, easy commute to Norfolk. You might want to live down on the beach, on the ocean front. Very expensive, but what an incredible, great lifestyle that is. Great places right there in the oceanfront. You could also go up to the north into the Chicks Beach area, where it's a little bit more affordable on the Chesapeake Bay. Absolutely some great properties up there as well. You may not want to be necessarily right on the beach, but maybe you want to be on the water. Maybe you want to have a boat and a dock. In that case, you're not going to necessarily be on the ocean. You're probably going to be up north of the base, north of Oceana, on the Lynnhaven River, Lynnhaven Bay, Broad Bay, somewhere around in there. As you can imagine, waterfront living is rather expensive in this area, but it is definitely something you want to consider, because there are always deals out there, and there's always a place that might be right for you for the right price. In general, the most expensive areas are going to be just north of the base, right there on that water, a little bit inland, or right on the ocean. If you want to be a little more affordable, you're probably going to be going inland to the west towards Virginia Beach Town Center. There generally is some more affordable neighborhoods that way. Affordable doesn't mean bad. It just means not on the water. And so the people, you can tend to get something a little more reasonably priced and your commute is still very manageable. So considering all that, moving to a new area like Virginia Beach can be confusing and exciting all at the same time. We are here to help you do your research. So give us a call anytime, or check us out on our website. Thanks.